Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, so I feel like since I was really young, I've been obsessed with like just creating the best life possible. And so I've always worked on myself in every area. I just want to have a good life. I feel like I grew up around a lot of people who didn't have what I wanted. And so I was always trying to see what they did wrong to do the right thing.
Man, see, you different. I mean, I say different in the sense of I had the same thing. So, father was in prison, in and out of prison. Mother had me at 17 years old, and my sister at 16 years old, right? But instead of me looking at them and what they did wrong, I was trying to look and see what other people were doing. I never really found the information, but I was always looking though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, I mean
yeah.
it's similar. My dad was in and out of prison. My mom had me when she was 18, and I was seeing the people who didn't have the life I wanted. I was like interviewing them at like 6, 8 years old. They'll tell you, I'd be like, "What's your biggest regret? What do you wish you did differently?"
That's how my
I didn't
daughter
realize
is.
that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But then if I found somebody who just had something that I liked, I couldn't put it together. I'd say, well, what's your biggest advice? What would you do differently? And because of that, I got a lot of advice, and I kind of became a perfectionist. In a sense. It was like, go to school, do this. So I started checking boxes, and I was
because
just,
I
was just like an overachiever in everything because I wanted to do everything.
But that's good. So one of the same mentor I was talking about that I listened to, he talked about past perceived value, like things that we like, whatever it was in our past that we saw. Like if I didn't have cars, everybody else had cars. Those things that was in my past that I saw that had value, if I couldn't have it then, later on, I'm striving to get those things. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. Yeah.
Well, that's just acting from our inner child desires, like wanting to create the opposite of what we had.
Yeah.
But I did that so much, I realized I became like a really good master at a lot of things in life. I was always reading self-development books, YouTube videos. All my spare time was always, what can I do better? I'm like in my mind coming up ways to think things better, work through hard emotions, like on my own, and figuring it out. And then later in life, when I was in college getting my bachelor's degree, I learned about life coaching. So I ended up going and getting certified after my bachelor's degree to become a life coach. And right now I'm getting my master's to become a therapist.
You actually, at least you went, so there's a lot of life coaches out there.
Right.
There's a lot of life coaches, but they're not necessarily life coaches. But I like that.
And you can be a life coach and not even take a certification.
I mean, I get that.
And it's not the same as having me. Like, I did a lot of work.
But it's a difference. And so I talked about that a while ago. So I talked about, like, it's guys who I know personally who were in prison, got out of prison, they're training people now. They didn't go to college. They didn't get a degree. They went studying the master's. Now, I did get the degree, and the master's, getting the PhD and so forth. But we both doing the same thing. And again, he was doing, like we talked about tying the shoe. He was doing the thing and learning it. By doing it, now he's affecting other people.
Exactly.
So there's always different routes. So I get that part. Like, it don't have to be the traditional route. But, some people, I feel like some people need the traditional route because they haven't been in the fire. Like, he went through the fire. Some people, not him. Some people might come up in a situation where they had everything.
Yeah.
And they want to be trainers like us and so forth, but they don't really have like the fortitude to go out there and do it. You need to go to training. Somebody needs to teach you like what to say, how to speak to people, how to build relationships. Like, you need that. But he been through all that. He went through the good and the bad, obviously. So he already know that. So it's different for everybody else. So yeah, you can be a life coach because I've been through some hard times. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Like, it ain't nothing that you can teach me in school because I made it out of this situation, so I can speak on this. Everybody don't have that.
Exactly, and I feel like I have some things that were just natural with me. Like, I'm naturally a people person. I'm naturally good communication. Good at communication and just speaking and stuff like that. But there are things I'm not good at, and I study those things. But I do think sometimes my people pleasing and my need to be really good at something holds me back from starting sooner, because I already have thousands of followers online. I have a good community. I have a good reputation. I have lots of education, a lot more than most people. But I still was like, I'm not ready. So until I just put myself out there, right? But this year, 2025, I basically launched a community. It's called the Aligned Women Network. And what it is it's basically what I've been doing to better myself, but I created pillars to help women develop themselves in all aspects. So basically, we have the pillar of self-development. That's like emotional regulation, mental regulation, knowing like how to build your mindset, how to work through hard moments.
Metacognition.
Right. And then there's life skills, which is just things you need to know to be good in life. Conflict management, finances, budgeting, social media marketing, just different skills you might want to have. And then the third pillar,
it's like a little not little, it's like a university basically.
Right.
In a sense,
And I'm still figuring out how that all works together, but I'm figuring it out as I go. And then my third pillar is relationships and building relationships. So the network itself is you building there's like-minded women who are ambitious, want to be better, kind, want to support other people. But then it's also learning how to manage relationships in general. Family dynamics, personal relationships.
Man, I got some clients. One that was right here with me, I won't mention her name right now, but she would be a perfect candidate for that. And she's looking for other strong women to be around. And if she ever like joins, you'll see what I mean. But like, she'd be perfect for that. I know a lot of women that can benefit from that.
Well,
they just got to know about you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then just finding them, because I know there's so many, and this is my first time really niching down in the Dallas area. Because I have an online presence, everybody is everywhere, but I feel less connected.
I got you.
And so I'm trying to build that connection.
Yeah, like actual people. Yeah, I get you.
And then the fourth pillar is really just creating life experiences, bucket list things. You know, things you say you want to do with your friends.
Yeah, go do it.
And you don't ever go do it. We're like, hey, we're meeting up here. Let's go skydiving. Or hey, let's go all dressed up like old ladies and go to the club. Like just memories and do stuff like that.
I like that. It reminds me of, so I started a nonprofit called Jacob and Sons, right? And the idea was like, and you have Boy Scouts, which, you know, in our neighborhoods, that don't really exist. It's like for certain neighborhoods, for lack of better words, all right? So I was like, let me start one that's kind of for us, where we can get like real life experiences. We can do certain things, but we can also get the other stuff that we don't get, because a lot of men that I see, especially in today's time, they don't know how to camp, they don't know how to hunt, they don't know how to like do certain things. It's like these are tools or skills that you should have as a man. Like, for instance, my wife said, she going to the store yesterday because everybody panicking for the weather storm that's coming, right? She's like, well, what we gonna do if the weather go out? I said, we still got all our camping stuff in the garage. Like, we literally can go outside and cook and set a fire. She's like, oh, but what about the food if that needs to get cold? I'm saying, it's plenty of cold outside. It's gonna be snow out there. Like, we're gonna be okay, right? But I think like that because I've been through those. I camp every year. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know how to go in the woods and survive, basically. I have those skills. And I feel like other men need those skills. So we're not out here killing each other over toilet paper.
Well, I mean, also just so you feel comfortable in your masculinity and who you are as a person,
now,
so that you can lead.
That's what I'm saying. So now I don't have to go challenge my fellow brother over something that's minuscule, because I'm coming up, brother. Matter of fact, let me teach you right quick. But we don't have that mindset as a whole. So like that's why I feel like Jacob and Son was important. I don't have like the 4 set pillars like you do, but within the structure of what we do, there's like I guess certain things that we do. So I can relate. Well,
and I just sat down and was trying to really think because I wanted to put it in words. But now that I'm even running my community and setting up events, okay, I'm looking for people with partnerships that have venues, right? I'm looking for people with partnerships who teach services and skills and different things. And I'm actually starting to wonder. I'm not sure I want to meet with like a business development person, but if mine should be more of like a nonprofit, because I'm wondering the pros and cons.
I can speak and I can say this is just my advice. I'm not an expert in it at all, but I would say no, you don't need to be nonprofit because then you have stipulations. Okay. Right, and so you don't want those stipulations because when you get the 501c3, you have to do certain things based off of what the law says for that. And like, I feel like you surpassed that already. So I feel like no. Now, can you have a nonprofit aspect to it? Yeah, like I got the gym, and then I have a nonprofit aspect with Jacob and Sons, and that's cool because children need to be protected anyway. It's got bylaws set up and all that type of stuff. Cool, but when it comes to business and push, like I just feel like it's a little bit different.
Well, and that's the thing I got to figure out too, because what I would really like is to have a vendor, like an Excel sheet, a vendor list of people in the DFW area who have spaces who want to, donate their spaces for workshops or trainings and stuff like that. And then there's people who come in and they train, and because especially like building it, of course, like there's a certain amount of money that I'm investing in it that I'm just paying to have these people, or it's low ticketed for the people in attendance. I mean, and right now, I guess my market audience is middle class, so some of them can afford that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if I wanted to start branching out to people who really need it, and sometimes the people who aren't really searching for it because they're in survival mode, that would require more free options to get them.
So let me get with Jacob and Son. So I'm gonna give you the backstory of why I came up with that name. When you go in the scriptures, you read in Genesis 39, I believe, and you read about Jacob sitting down with his sons. He's telling them, hey, this was going to behold you in the future. So he's telling them, this son is what you're going to have, this is what you're going to do. And he gives the whole list. But he didn't stop at his sons. His grandsons, they weren't his sons per se, but he was like, I'm going to look out for y'all too. So sometimes you got to have that person that's looking out for the people who don't have, right? And so that you don't have to say I'm going to only look out for the low class. It don't have to be a separation. It could be, hey, I got a director from Mary Kay, right? And she's looking to help, 10 people this year. I can go get those 10 lower class people without having to lower the standards of what I'm doing. Or like, yes, but I'm gonna bring y'all up here for what we're doing. And this person over here already looking to help somebody anyway.
That's a good idea. Even having like people who maybe have more sponsoring, people who don't have as much.
Exactly. So that cut you off. So within that group of Jacob and Sons, because that's the theme of it and where we came up with it, we had young boys who were like me who didn't have fathers. So when we went camping, right? Of course, every kid out there didn't have a father. So the ones who didn't, we were their father per se, and these 3, y'all with me, those 2, y'all, and so forth. So y'all come with me. I'm gonna show y'all how to make knives out of rocks, right? And then y'all go over there with him, and then we switch or whatever. And so so it's like just because you without, I mean you can't be around people who do have, and if people do have to understand like it's my responsibility to make sure I take care of that next person. But you gotta get people who think like that though.
Do you mainly focus on young kids, teenagers, adults?
That group we focus on. So we focus on, the focus was Jacob and sons, so fathers and sons. And so we had fathers who didn't have children who were there, but we also had fathers who had children who had experience and knowledge to be able to help us with other kids. So like it's a community. It was men based, right? Like women based. It's men based, but it's not exclusive. Like if you don't have kids, you can't do this, right? Or if you don't have a father, no. Like this is a community.
I love that because I'm kind of doing the opposite. Mine is women and kids.
Exactly.
Like I go to an elementary school and I mentor little girls on confidence and overcoming anxiety and body issues and dealing with emotions. But also, like a lot of some of the events I want to do are mother-daughter because a lot of what I coach on is healing your mother wound or healing your inner child wound. I love that.
Yeah, see, and I think the difference between always is like women versus men, we think different. We already know that, right?
Yeah.
And so for us, I think, especially with men, not that we don't have emotions, we do. Most of us don't want to tap into it. That's cool. And I know they have groups for men who want to do that. Right. Majority of the men don't. That's why they say we have like certain issues. But it's cool. Like when they come with us, we don't have to tap into like that aspect of it. Like what you're saying makes sense for you, and then for me, it's more like, hey, let's go explore. Because we don't have that opportunity like we used to. We're too busy working. We don't conquer anymore. Nobody really at war conquering and doing that type of stuff anymore, right? So how do we? What outlets do we have? In the neighborhoods, you got the gangs killing each other. That ain't the right outlet. So what do we provide, right? So hey, let me show y'all something different over here. I know you've never been fishing before or hunting or whatever, and that's our therapy per se.
Well,
so you got
kind of doing it without having the conversation, being an example, and just living with them. And I feel like that is a good approach for boys.
Exactly, and then for
because they shut down when it's like, but it's like I'm showing you how to function as a man, as a healthy man.
Locked in, focus on something. To see a young boy learn how to make a bow and arrow out of it's a certain type of tree, which I forgot the name of it. I know when I see it. To watch a young boy spend, 30 minutes straight just trying to get the wood off, and another hour trying to get it to bend. We're not even talking, but he's focused. Same kid they say in school got ADHD or whatever. Okay, no, he's just not paying attention to what y'all teaching him because it's not relevant to his life, basically. It's not really beneficial. But yeah, I love the fact that y'all do that because I can see, like I have daughters, I have 7 sisters. I can see how that's beneficial. And you know what I'm saying? I've heard certain conversations. I'm like, that's perfect. And then, the men, we already ready to shut down, like you said. So how do we go let that out? Boxing. You see look at the boxing class. 98% men, you know what I mean? BJJ, probably 100%, right? Because we need that physicality. So, yeah.
I love that. I didn't realize that we were doing so much that's similar, really on the opposite side of the spectrum. So
it's cool.
I love that. One day I want to host, so keep in mind the single men that you have that are healthy, ambitious, good men, or people working towards it. One of these days, because we're all working progress.
Yeah, I got you.
But one of these days I want to hold like a mixer, or if you know any other people with men communities, like just a mixer with guys and girls who are working on bettering themselves. And maybe even, there's different activities we do. It doesn't all have to be around dating and stuff like that. But just put them in the same space.
Networking. I feel like there can be healthy relationships without the dating part of it. Like, you don't have to be a sipping paint and all that type of stuff. And no, it can literally be like a networking event. Right. We've grown enough. I think everybody can pretty much benefit from a conversation with somebody like us. Right. You know how many people could be like us who might be doing the same thing on opposite ends of the spectrum, but like doing something similar, and we don't know because we're not in that industry. But like I saw I won't say her name because she's not here, but one of the clients, her and another male client here, they both end up being in the same industry. They're close friends now. Like, they're not dating or nothing, but they talk and they speak about the same industry stuff, which is real estate.
Finding people of the opposite sex that are healthy. Working towards it, being the best version of themselves. That is like expansive in itself, and it's healing in itself. So, I'm with it. You let me know when. All right, I'm down. It was good talking
thank you. Hey, look, I told you, I got to say this on the video because I told them when I made the first episode, you're going to get real, raw, uncut video, like no trying to sell you anything, really trying to just give you insight. So this was literal.
This is real conversation we're about to have.
Exactly. Like, let's just record it. So there you go. So, all right, YouTube, you know what it is. Make an excuse or make a way.
Bye, y'all.